Okay. Good evening, everybody. Bobby Piton here. Um, I hope everybody out there who is a dad had a wonderful Father's Day. YouTube is the 2 week hiatus is over, and so hopefully I just keep it at this two strikes because they're basically claiming to ban me permanently with this account if they think I have a third strike. So what I will do is I will not be speaking politics. I'm going to try to keep it to the Bible, as well as, I'll do my Python points on YouTube. And then if I want to discuss politics and other issues, I will do that on probably on Vimeo or on, what's the other one? Odyssey and so forth. So that's the deal, folks. So happy Father's Day to everybody. Thank you for the wishes. Anybody else out there who is a father, I hope you guys had a wonderful day with your children, and that you had the time to go out, enjoy the weather, maybe have a good meal, and everything else. I know I had a wonderful day. For me, we had a great lunch. I had a light dinner, and then we kind of took, we basically, took care of some things and so forth around the house and tidied up and everything. So that was really nice for me because I kind of viewed today as a day to kind of get a little caught up, um, on things for Father's Day. That was my Father's Day thing that I wanted to get, and I got it. So it was wonderful. So that's the deal. I kind of viewed it as a day to kind of catch up and get a little more organized. And so my son helped me pretty much all day, which is super cool. And so let's see if we can come up with a simple code we can stay here. Yeah, we'll have to come up with. We almost need a the hell they do in World War II with the Nazis. They did that decoder machine or something. Oh, I did get a nap in today too, Dallas. So I slept. By the way, I've been up since 5 this morning, and so my daughter woke me up, my 2-year-old, at 5 a.m. And so it was kind of nice to be up and no disturbances, no kids up, no wife up. The Enigma code. That's right. Thanks, Jeffrey. And I basically I watched some Vikings of all shows, and I kind of want to talk about that whole show Vikings. I was wrapping up the 4th season, and so I watched a few episodes. I told my wife about it, and I do think that the Vikings show has some correlation to what is taking place in the world today. Anyways, my daughter's right. I did nap in her room because I didn't want to wake up my other kids and so forth. And so you got to find a room that's quiet. So that's the deal. Like, we have a decent sized house, and even with the size of the house, it's tough to go find a spot that's nice and quiet. And Jeffrey, all I could tell you is, and I told my wife this, my heritage is Tirolo, right? And at first, now keep in mind, when I found out my heritage is Tirolo, and I found out that he basically, jumped ship, so to speak, and sided with the French, I was a little saddened, because who wants to be known as a traitor, right? Because Rollo basically jumped ship, and he became a Frank, right? He became French, and he fought his brother. Right now, keep in mind this is just a show, so who knows how much of it's true? But what I do know is true is from my heritage. You guys can all look this up if you don't believe me. So you guys can go look this up for yourselves. Python. Piton, we came from Normandy, France. Normandy, France, the first Duke of Normandy, France, was Rollo. Rollo is tied into, my heritage. So it's pretty funny, right? Because, who would have thought when I just started looking into, hey, where did my last name come from, right? Where did this sucker come from? I started doing some research, and sure enough, the Python name started in Normandy, and we were considered dukes of Normandy, France, and we were the ones that basically were granted the land of Normandy for helping, basically keep France free from, the Vikings, ironically, right? And so here we are, Vikings, and then we basically helped with regards to, we converted to Christianity, and then fought on the side of defending the French, and in particular in the show, it was defending Paris and so forth from being conquered and so forth. So, anyways, I do think it is pretty funny. Jeff, that is pretty funny. Lumberg. I do like the coffee mug in that show. So, anyways, that's, it's neither here nor there, but I am going to discuss the Viking show with regards to Judges 11 and what's going on in the Bible and what's going on, with regards to what's going on in the world today. Because I will say, and I'm going to get back. I want to get back to Judges 11 here in a second, but keep in mind, folks, that the Vikings were pirates. Okay, so what is a pirate? A pirate. We kind of heard of this. Yes, Edward Solomon is still working with me, and yes, so nothing's changed there, smarty man. And so, I'll do an update tomorrow. But yeah, he's phenomenal. I love working with Edward, and I'm looking forward to working with him outside of election issues, with working for my company. I did tell him I got first dibs when we're done with this election stuff for working with me full time. So, anyways, I'm hopeful. He's a young guy. I think he's in his early 30s. That he does work with me. Granted, maybe other people are going to try to pick him off. I get it. It's a free market, but I do think we have a good working chemistry. We both can speak to each other freely and understand what each of us are saying to each other, which is super helpful, right? There aren't that many people that you can speak the same language with, and not have to explain yourself more than once. So I'm extremely happy with that reality. And so, I'm excited about working with Edward. And so, he, I really like the guy. That's all I could tell you. I have a great feeling about Edward Solomon, Edward King Solomon, right? And I tell him, I said, your parents named you after, King Solomon. He just kind of chuckled when I brought that up to him. But no, he wasn't named after King Solomon, and I asked him at first, was he Jewish, right? And I'm like, are you Jewish because Solomon's a Jewish name? He goes, no, I'm Catholic, or not Catholic. He's Christian. I'm not sure if he's Catholic. But anyways, I speak frankly with folks. If you guys haven't noticed by now, I don't have a problem finding out if someone's Jewish or Muslim or or whatever, Catholic or Protestant. It doesn't bother me. I just like to know what somebody's background is and so forth. I find it fascinating. I find dealing with people from all different backgrounds absolutely fascinating. I happen to love it. And so, and I like the fact that it makes some people uneasy. It doesn't make me uneasy. I like to just ask people point blank. And so anyways, that's the deal. So let's go to Judges 11, right? As we're judging things, let's go to Judges 11. So now Jephthah of Gilead was a great warrior. He was the son of Gilead, but his mother was a prostitute, right? Now, keep in mind, today's Father's Day, and I wrote a post earlier today with regards to, people in prison and I said, I had this weird dream about people in prison today. And I say weird because it was like at 4:35 in the morning, right before my daughter woke me up. I'm having this dream about people in the prison system in this country and how many dads there were, right, on Father's Day. And so one of the things, I wrote this morning on Telegram, if you guys follow me on Telegram, is I said, we're all equal before God. So somebody who's free and somebody who's in prison is equal before God. That's the way it is. And, I think that's my reality, right? I believe in the Bible. I believe in what the Bible is saying. And I do believe that, God, that even people that made a mistake, they did something wrong, they're serving their time, they're in prison. And so that's the deal, okay? So anyways, thinking about this whole situation with regards to people in prison, I thought about it from the standpoint that if we want people that are in prison to be productive members of society, why don't we treat them as human beings, right? I know that sounds harsh, but the prison system treats people that are in prison like slaves. They treat them as almost like subhuman. And, I kind of wrote the post as, whatsoever you do to the least of my people, that you do unto me. And, I wasn't saying it to be cute, but if we treat people like animals and we treat them unjustly and we treat them as though they're beneath us, right, because they made a mistake, what are we doing for the future, right? We're basically creating a tremendous amount of hatred and resentment. With regards to pedophiles, John, they should be executed. So we don't have any argument there. If you harm a child, if you harm the most innocent among us, you shouldn't be in jail. You should be executed. That's my stance. So I do not believe that we should have any mercy on people that harm children. None whatsoever. And in fact, my stance is we should allow the people of the community to vote on it. Like, who wants the death penalty for pedophiles? And let everybody go on record. I don't think anybody is going to have a problem going on record saying, I want that pedophile dead for what they did. They harmed the most innocent among us. Jeffrey, castration is not enough. Okay? We have a bunch of men walking around right now that are castrated because of chemicals in our food. So, that's not enough for pedophiles. I do not believe we need to televise it. We don't need to celebrate onward people being brought to justice. I don't believe that. I think it's, we shouldn't make it entertainment. This is a sad part of our reality as a society, as a humanity. When we shouldn't make it funny when we have to execute somebody for crimes against humanity. I do not believe that is something that is I don't believe that people that are executed for crimes against humanity, that's something we should celebrate. It's a sign of our weakness as a society that we're not doing something correctly that's leading to a situation where these folks are prospering, so to speak. And so I think it should be, it should be done quickly, justly, quietly, not quietly, but like humanely. I don't think televising it should be, is a humane way to do it. Is all. That's my perspective. If the American people decide they want to televise it, I can't stop them. That's just the way it is. But I'm just telling you, my argument would be we shouldn't televise it. We should do this as quickly as possible, and we need to put them down. And so, anyways, so that's that. So, about this time, the Ammonites began their war against Israel. With the Ammonites attacked, the elders of Gilead sent for Jephthah to the land of Tob. Come and be our commander. So it's kind of interesting. They kind of wanted to partner with someone who was in good standing with the Lord, right? Who's in good standing with God. And they basically said, "Look, we'll follow your lead. We want God on our side. You have God on your side. So let's make it happen." And that's kind of what the story was. And so they made him the ruler and commander of the army. In the presence of the Lord, Jephthah repeated what he had said to the elders. "What have you come out to fight against my Lord?" The king answered, "When the Israelites came out of Egypt, they stole my land from the Arnon River to the Jacob River, all the way to the Jordan." Okay? Hold on one second, folks. Kind of interesting news came out. Hold on. I just want to see one thing here. Hold on a second. Okay. I was just curious. There's some news that just came out. I just saw something on the headline. Frank, I've been banned for 2 weeks on YouTube for my testimony in Arizona, believe it or not. So it was my testimony from November 30th that they banned me for. It was my second strike. And so, it's kind of sad because it's been around for over 6 months. Nothing I said in there that was inaccurate, but they banned me for that testimony. And so that's life, I am being persecuted, Aaron, no doubt about that. And so I have to kind of deal with it. But that's why you guys should follow me on Telegram. I'm at Bobby Piton. I'm on Gab at Bobby Piton. I have a website that's going to be going up for my run for U.S. Senate as www.bobbypiton.com. That should be coming up here in the next probably week or so. And so that's the deal, folks. But I will be making a strong case to rein in, big tech. Once, in the event that the American people decide to elect me to the U.S. Senate, I will push very hard for that. I have no intention of living in D.C. I will go there, vote, and come back home. I will run my business. I will be one term and done. I told people very clearly, there's 47,000 Americans for every one elected official in the U.S. There's 600,000 Americans for every one person of Congress, and I have no interest in more than one term. We should develop a deep bench. People should go in, serve, and get the hell out. So 6 years in the U.S. Senate is a very long time. I don't want to live in politics. I'll do my duty and get out. Now, that being said, if I serve one term and then the American people want to elect me into something else, I will look into it. So, who knows? Maybe a governor or something else. And, that's what I would do. But I have no interest in more than one term. First of all, folks, I'm not going to kid you. It makes me nauseous. It makes me nauseous to think about being in D.C. I just recently was there for this movie that's coming out next week, a week from yesterday. And I got to tell you, it turned my stomach being in D.C. It is a cesspool. There's a tremendous amount of evil there. I can feel the evil when I walk around D.C. And I do not take it lightly. I'm only doing this or running because I do feel I can contribute and help. And then once I'm done, I'm out. Okay. I want to do my part. And, I know this sounds funny to people, but God made a deal with me, right? In my dreams. I know it sounds funny. God basically said, he goes, okay. I always thought, hold on a second. Okay. Here's the deal, folks. I have the ability to see things before they happen in the world based on data and everything else. I've had that gift my whole life. Okay? You guys, some of you maybe believe it, maybe some of you don't, and that's okay. You don't have to believe it. You could think I'm full of shit. That's all right. Don't you worry. I'm still going to just be Bobby. But anyways, the deal is, there's a lot of stuff that I can see and I can figure out how to do that, I thought it was for my benefit, right? I can see these things. I can take advantage of it, right? And the rewards were mine. Who wouldn't think that, right? Just like, wow, you could see stuff. You could, like, I'm going to make some money on this, and it's my money, right? It's mine. I could see it, so it's mine. And so, you know, and it took me a while. It took me a while until God sent me a little wake up call and said, no, 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 no. That stuff's not yours, man. That's not yours. That's my stuff. You're just helping. You're just kind of helping. You get the help. But I'll tell you what, if you take care of what you're supposed to do, I'll reward you later. Okay? And so we have an agreement. We have an agreement. We have an agreement in principle. Okay? I don't think, God's going to double cross me. And so the deal is, I always thought a lot of the things that I've seen and I can do, I would be rewarded first, and then I would kind of pay it back. I would pay it back. You guys got me on an off day here. It's Father's Day. So, anyways, and what I came to realize is, God's like, no, that's not the deal, Bobby. You don't get what you think you know how to do until you do what I'm asking you to do first. Okay. And that's the deal. Okay. So that's where I'm basically saying, okay, is that it's a little nerve wracking. Okay. I'm not going to kid you. It's a little nerve wracking because there's a side of me that's like, hey, just give me a little piece up front. Anyways, I'm just laughing. I'm just kidding around, folks. But the Patriot, but anyways, I'm kind of chuckling about it, but at the same time, I'm also serious that, there's certain things I can see and they happen, but the timing is slightly off. And so if I try to profit from it, the timing always seems to be pushed a little bit. And so it's a very weird thing, right? That it happens to me repeatedly. And so I think it's God's way of just kind of messing with me a little bit. I kind of have to deal with God's timeline, not mine. And so that's the deal, folks. That's where this is where we're at. So looking at the stuff with Jephthah and Israel and being on, wanting to have God on your side, I have to tell you, I do feel tremendously, better, tremendously better. I don't even know if that's the right phrase to use, but the fact that that God is, and once again, man, you got to remember, I'm a pragmatic person. So if somebody told me this, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and said, yeah, what God told me, is, if I do this, I'm going to get this. I would have chuckled at them. I would have been like, what the hell? What kind of drugs are you on? Are you drinking a lot of alcohol? What the hell is going through your head, right? This is the way I would have probably reacted, right? That's why I'm chuckling about this, because here I am reading the Bible, going over this stuff with you guys, and I can't help but laugh because here I am. I'm in the middle of this damn movie. I'm in the middle of this story of sorts, right? It's like, wait a second. God's telling me that this is going to happen. I'm seeing this in visions. I'm being told exactly what to do, right? And so a couple things are going on. Either I'm losing my mind, right? I'm literally losing my mind for some reason, which I do not believe I am. Once again, I'm a pragmatic person. There's nothing that tells me or suggests that I'm losing my mind. But what I see is so clear that, you know, it's got to be God, or it's got to be some insanely hyper intelligent alien species that's sending me messages. But here's the rub, folks. How in the world can they see? They literally, I guess they can, maybe some species can read every single thought I've had my entire existence, um, and then look at it and then figure out how I'm going to react in real time. I guess that's possible, right? So, you know, so anyways, when I'm reading this stuff in the Bible and I'm reading about Jephthah and I'm talking, reading about this whole thing with God being on your side, um, and then I have this dream that I should run for office, and who the hell knows what's going to happen? I don't have any expectations about winning. That's the funny thing about all this. So I don't have any expectations of winning. All of a sudden, I kind of declare that, I'll be running for office. I talk to some folks, right? And all of a sudden, all of this crazy stuff is happening. That is, super, put it this way, super positive if you really wanted to win, right? Like there's a side of me that like I know this sounds funny to people, but there's a side of me that would be relieved if I didn't win. How's that? I kind of did God's will. God told me to run, right? And then I say, God, I did what you asked. Okay. And now, we're done. We're done with this matter. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to say. You asked me to run. You told me I had to run. But then I'm going to go back to my life. Right. And, that's the way I would prefer it kind of play out, but then there's a side that as this is playing out, it kind of keeps building its own momentum. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of chuckle, because it's like, here I am thinking, yeah, I'll show God. I'm going to agree to go along with it. And then something's going to kind of not play out. And then I'm going to be like, aha, I'll see you later. I'm going to go back to my life. Thank you very much. Okay. I did my part, but that's not what seems to be happening. It kind of keeps feeding on itself. So anyways, literal actors in the mix. How can you be sure that you're legit? Serious question, not a promise. Cassie, just assume I'm not legit is what I would say. Here, I'm gonna highlight Cassie, what she said. And I'm a very much of a pragmatic person. And so, Cassie, what I would say is, me as well as other people, don't ever assume that anybody is legit, and kind of let things play out, or stay involved and go listen and so forth, and and that's it. And let the evidence one way or another prove itself out. And and you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't believe anything I say. And if you think that I'm crazy, go shout it from the rooftops. Go tell everybody this guy Bobby is just nuts, and that's okay too. I don't really care. Frankly, I'm going to speak what I see, what's in my mind. I don't consciously try to mislead anybody. I don't try to lie about anything. I'm in the business of managing money, and like I was talking to my sister about it today. When you manage money for a living, the moment you lie about a single thing, you've lost all trust by your clients. So I'm in a profession that is unlike most professions in this world. If you speak a lie, and it's a lie, it's a career ender, right? People will not ever trust you again. And so that's the deal. So, that's what I'm saying. You should look into it, check it out for yourself. And, that's what I would say. And so, Aaron, I manage money for a living. I've been managing money for over 25 years now. So that's one of the things that has probably helped create what's the word, the critical thinking and research and digging into things is the fact that you know let's see um, you know the critical thinking and everything is the result of all the research and reading that I've done over my lifetime. When I say I've read over 1,000,000 pages, I think some people thought I was being cute. It sounded funny, but I read over 1,000,000 pages in my 20s. I read 500 pages a day every day for like 10 years straight. I worked 70, 80 hours a week every week for 10 years. Um, and so, I loved doing it. It wasn't work for me. I had a routine and I literally just ran a script. I did it day in, day out. And so, you know, that's what's probably helped kind of set the baseline of uh, um, baseline of how I can build off of that knowledge that I've accumulated into other things, and I can do things pretty fast. Is what I would say. So I can do traditional analysis at a magnitude of what other people can do it at. Only because I've spent more time, I think, learning, right? I don't think anybody, I don't think that by any means that I'm unique. I think other people can learn how to do this if they put the work in, right? You got to put the work in, though. If you put the time in, and you spend, you know, 40,000 hours doing something, you're going to be pretty good at it. Like, I know it sounds funny, right? When you say it that way, if you spend 40,000 hours doing something over a decade, you're going to be pretty good at it compared to someone who just started doing it for 200 hours. Otherwise something's wrong. You screwed up. So that's what I would say. But anyways, going to Judges 12, Ephraim fights with Jephthah. They mobilized an army and crossed over the Jordan River. They sent a message to Jephthah. I did think it was pretty crazy that they killed 42,000 people back then. Now, keep in mind, folks, we did the math on how big the planet was back then, if you guys remember. This was, Adam, I see there's 144 people. So I'm a little confused if you're only seeing 116. But I see 144 people watching right now. So thank you, everybody, for showing up. God bless you all. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I see 144. So if you guys are not seeing 144, please let me know. Okay, cool. Because otherwise YouTube is censoring how many people are watching me, little bastards. Anyways, anyways, this whole thing about killing 42,000 people back then, I think the size of the planet was maybe about 3 to 4 million. So it was about a million times 1,000 is a billion. So if it was 4 million, right? 4 million times 1,000 is 4 billion. So, I want you to imagine 42,000 times 1,000. That would be the equivalent of 42 million people dying today, right? 42 million people, right? That's assuming the planet was only 4 billion people. So this is a tremendous. Oh, no problem, Cassie. By the way, I'm just gonna say I can't really see your photo very well, but you do have a really nice smile. So, anyways, it's probably why I responded, because you have a nice smile on your photo. If you kind of had a very angry look, I probably wouldn't say anything. I'd probably go about my business and just stick with the Bible. So no problem, Cassie. I'm glad. I'm happy to respond. But anyways, 42,000 times 1,000 is 42 million. So 42 million people, the equivalent of 42 million Ephraimites, were killed at the time. It's a heck of a lot of people, folks. That's a heck of a lot of people. So Jephthah judged Israel for 6 years, and when he died, he was buried in one of the towns of Gilead. Now, keep in mind, there's a stock called Gilead, Gild, And I can't help but think that they named themselves after Gilead in the Bible. Anyways, it'd probably be worth looking into as to why exactly they came up with this entire, came up with that name. But anyways, when I sit there and I think about this, that's the way my brain works. I kind of think about this stuff in the context of how large was the world back then? How large is the world today? And when they say these numbers, I think about all these things in the context of like right now. What the hell would it mean right now if we heard something like this today? If we were alive in the world today, this story played out today, what the heck would it look like? That's the deal. And so, anyways, that's what's on my mind when I see these numbers. So, John, in the beginning, we talked about this yesterday, right? We were talking about this with the brain and how the brain might be the temple, as well as, it's tied to the resurrection of Christ. So if you guys haven't watched that clip that we talked about yesterday, please check it out. I think it's fascinating. At a minimum, it's worth watching just for another perspective. Now, people have kind of reached out to me and they say, Bobby, that's kind of like New Age science. That's not really religion. This guy is saying this. And here's my response to anybody who's being critical of this. Okay? We owe it to ourselves to think. Let me say that again. We owe it to ourselves to think. Part of thinking is to look at other people's interpretations, their perspectives, what they're seeing, what they might be seeing that we don't see, and just be critical of it and just listen to what they're saying and look at where things make sense and look at the motivations. Like, what is the motive of who's saying what it is they're saying? And I've talked about this because, I've been looking at world history and in particular World War II recently and how it ties into the United States. And it makes me nervous, right? I mean, I think about it, right? I think about Hitler, what created Hitler. Nobody wants to look at that. It's kind of like everybody kind of wants to look the other way. It's a bad thing to look into understanding what created Hitler, what created the German people supporting Hitler. What are the parallels that have taken place in the world since then? What are the parallels that took place before Hitler's rise in other parts of the world and in history? And all these things matter. And so if we don't want to examine how people think and behave, we're going to possibly be hit with the same problems again and again and again. And we see this play out so many times to the Bible. The Bible does an incredible job of capturing how human beings behave. And so we seem to behave in a very similar pattern as human beings with different narratives over time. And so I've never read Hitler's book, Mein Kampf, but I have to tell you, I am interested in reading it just from understanding what the hell convinced the German people to support this guy. I really want to hear it. Now, keep in mind, my family is from Poland, right? So Germany kicked the shit out of Poland, okay? Let's just call it what it is. They came in there, and I think they took it over in like 5 days, okay? And my dad was alive. He was in Poland. He was born in 1926. And they remember when the Germans were shelling Zakopane. So if you go pull it up on Wikipedia, the town that I am from in Poland, my family, Zakopane, Zakopane, they were one of the first towns shelled. So, hey, it's pretty funny, but we were one of the chosen towns to get shelled by Germany first. So, anyways, so when I hear this story, right, I hear this story from my parents. And I'm like, we didn't have Wikipedia when I heard this, right? I kind of heard this I heard this when I was a kid, right? I'm 45 years old now, but I hear this stuff when I'm like 10, 15 years old. And then, sorry, I'm just eating a little popcorn. And then I'm hearing this stuff, and I look it up, and it's like, wow, they weren't joking around. They remember being bombed, and they thought it was a storm. Meanwhile, it's the freaking Germans shelling them. And looking into this, right? It's important to understand what the hell happened, right? Why did they do this? Polish people, we have a lot of similarities to Germans and Russians. And we have a very similar culture. We're very stubborn peoples. I would say Germans, Polish, and Russians are extremely stubborn. If I had to, it's my perception. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe Polish people are more stubborn. I'm not sure. But I'm telling you, they're very stubborn and they're very principle based. They do things based on principle, and they're willing to go down with the damn ship. Okay? And so, thinking about this stuff in the context of what we were talking about the other day, with the way the brain is set up, and with the Word was God, and the Word was God. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. So in the creation, when God chose to speak, the Word became the world. Right? The world was created out of the Word. And so the Word is the truth, and so forth. And so, we sit there and we think about, well, what is the truth, right? What is the Word? And the Word is, that's funny. Angela Bacon. Angela, I had some bacon today. I don't know if that's your last name, but anyways, just kidding around. I'm not sure if, would make up your last name as Bacon, but I did have some bacon tonight. It's one of the things I wanted for dinner. I had a nice big lunch. My wife made me steak for Father's Day. And then I had a light dinner. I just had a little bit of bacon. That's pretty cool, Angela. So we had some bacon and that's it. I'm eating some popcorn. So I really didn't eat anything. I'm still trying to fast and cut some weight. So I'm trying to keep to like 2 meals a day. But anyways, I'm sorry, guys. I get off on these little tangents as people make comments. So bear with me. But going back to the Word and the truth and the light. Jesus is the light of the world. And how did he bring us that light? He brought it through the Word. So what brings about the Word? What brings about the Word is the meaning which is in our brains, which is our thought. So our brains, in the context of what this other gentleman was saying, ties into the temple. Because our capacity to think and to understand and to reason is truly a temple, right? And so when we think about this whole concept, Moses was going into the temple, like the temple, the tent with the tabernacle. And what was there? It was a cloud, right? It was a cloud of God. And so Moses would speak with God when he would go in toward the tabernacle, which was enclosed by these drapes. Do you guys remember all this? But, I agree, Jacob. We are created in the image of God. Absolutely. And so the image of God is maybe our brains, and in this connection with the tabernacle is the image of God, right? Maybe our ability to think is and connect with God when we go to that place in any particular moment of time is our connection with God. Folks, it's extremely fascinating. But the way this gentleman described it is, this is like 10, 12, 9, 10 years ago, I think, this clip. All I could tell you is that when I meditate, when I pray and I clear my mind, it doesn't take a lot of time. People think it takes minutes or 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30. It doesn't need to take that much time. It can happen in a flash. It can happen in whatever, 1 second, 3 seconds. It all just depends on how quickly you move into that state. And he made it very clear with regards to, is this that buzzing experience in your head? So, okay, so here's what I would say, Dan. This is not the buzzing experience in my head. So when I meditate and pray, right? Because I kind of view meditation as prayer, one and the same. I kind of like clear my mind and pray and ask for God's guidance and so forth. But, that is a complete emptiness feeling. And it's not a bad thing. It's incredibly restorative, if that's a word. Like I feel like my spirit is restored. It's literally like charging a battery. When I get into that state of mind, it's just like I feel like my body, my spirit is just completely charged when I go there. Okay. Now the buzzing sound, when I hear any sort of buzzing and so forth, that tends to happen when a lot of people are praying for me. I do believe it's the prayer, right? Because sometimes if I say stuff on Telegram or something else, I'm not kidding around. When I feel like, I can feel when a lot of people are praying, and when the prayers are coming, they come. It's that buzzing sound. It's almost like, I hate to, it's like almost like a swarm of bees. That's the way I would describe it. When there's a lot of people praying for me, for something I'm doing, something I said, they're worried about my safety. I hear it in the form of a buzzing sound or a swarm of bees. And so it's super cool when it happens. So like right now, Dan, as I'm sitting here, right, I'm sitting there talking, right? And there's some people praying for me right now. It's not a lot. It's a small amount, but I can feel it. If I close my eyes, it's the intensity of the buzz is the tempo of how many people are praying. Anyways, it's really cool. I don't know who else can feel this, but I can tell you right now that unless I'm just literally just losing my mind, I can sense it and feel it, and it's a hell of a rush. I'm not gonna kid you. It really fuels a tremendous amount of what I've been doing and staying focused. And sometimes I wonder, like I said I think I said this a couple days ago. Are people sending me their ideas, right? Are they sending me their thoughts? Am I picking up on it without even realizing it, right? It is really cool. And so from my perspective, the way I feel about it is I do believe there are some people sending me their thoughts and prayers and their hopes of what they want to see me possibly help do. And I take it very seriously. And so serious to me is figure out how to execute on the plan, on the ideas. And so, I do think that that's super important, and I'm trying to do it. So in terms of who's praying for me, I don't know who's praying, who's praying for me specifically, but I can tell you, when I write something or I say something, when I write or say something in particular, it magnifies at times, right? So I can tell what is clicking, right? Not that I'm trying to do that, right? So I want to make something clear here. I'm not like trying to say stuff to try to get prayers thrown at me. That's not the idea. I'm saying is when I say something or I do something in particular, all of a sudden something happens that says, boom, you're on the right track, Bobby. And so, but to what Frank just said right here, I do feel that most of the prayers that I do receive, the vast majority, I would say, when I say the most, the vast majority in my mind is over 2/3 of the prayers that I do receive are for my safety and for my family's safety. And I have to tell you, a lot of what I'm doing, when I talk about things, and as you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it on YouTube right now. We'll have to do it somewhere else. But I don't think about my safety. That's the irony. So I don't think about my safety at all when I'm saying these things. A lot of it, I just kind of sense it and feel it, and I just speak it. But then I do feel the prayers about my safety with regards to what the heck I'm saying. So there's a weird dynamic, because I don't really think about what I'm saying as being dangerous, at the time I'm saying it. But then when I look at it afterwards, I'm like, whoa, I'm going to piss off some of the wrong people, right? And so, but then other people are praying to kind of keep me safe. And so it's really interesting. So anyway, so let's go to Psalm, because we're running out of time. Psalm 101 here. Okay. So I will sing of your love and justice, Lord. I will praise you with songs. I will be careful to live a blameless life. When will you come to help me? I will lead a life of integrity in my own home. I will refuse to look at anything vile and vulgar. I hate all who deal crookedly. I will have nothing to do with them. I will reject perverse ideas and stay away from every evil. I will not tolerate people who slander their neighbors. I will not endure conceit and pride. I will search for faithful people to be my companions. Only those who are above reproach will be allowed to serve me. I will not allow deceivers to serve in my house, and liars will not stay in my presence. My daily task will be to ferret out the wicked and free the city of the Lord of their grip. Folks, I got to tell you, I just had this conversation with my wife today about the importance of not buying things from countries that do not like us. Countries that do not respect human rights. I said I refuse to buy anything from the Middle East because they violate women's rights. I have 3 daughters. I will not buy. I do not consciously want to own anything from a country that violates women's rights. Nothing. There's some stuff in our house that her mom, my wife's mom, brought. She bought these things for my wife. Okay, they're from a Muslim nation. Okay, that in my view on Islam, especially with the way they treat women, is they don't treat them with the respect I feel that they deserve. So I do not want anything made in a country that's Muslim in my house. Get it out of here. Okay, it's one thing if it's in the damn gas tank, right? Oil and so forth. But I don't want anything in here. I don't care if it's artwork. I don't care if it's a freaking whatever, a piece of china. We have some, her mom brought us some Turkish dishes, okay? Turkey. And the argument is, Turkey's progressive, they're progressive. Bullshit. They're not progressive, okay? It's a shithole of a country, and they treat women like dirt, okay? I don't want anything from Turkey in this house, okay? I'm not interested. And so if you want to buy it, go ahead. But it's a free country, and I don't want anything in my house that is made in Turkey. I don't want any artwork. I don't want any glassware. I don't want anything. And folks, I'm trying to get rid of anything that's been made in China over time. I don't want anything in China. Now, keep in mind, it's not as easy as you think. So it's an effort. I'm trying to wean myself off. I don't want to buy anything that is made in China while the Communist Party controls China, because it's all slave labor. It's not any different than buying stuff from the South when slavery was intact in the United States. I don't want to buy anything from the South if I lived in the North while slavery was in place. And I feel the same way about the CCP and buying stuff from China. I don't want to buy anything from China. Now, if I have no choice because nobody else makes anything except China with that product, I'm stuck. All right? But hopefully, over time, more Americans are waking up and realizing we should not support evil. We should live our values. We should buy from companies and people that believe in the same principles that we do. Otherwise, try to go without. Breyer, I agree with you. Now, sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay? I need computers for what I do. I need hardware. I need memory. And, if I need the technology that is being produced because of U.S. companies that put all their damn production into China, I'm kind of stuck. Now, keep in mind, it is changing, but it still sucks. I do believe, Jeremy, our government should stop. And I do think we should make sure that 2/3 of anything we buy in this nation, 2/3, should be made in the U.S. That's my stance. Women, I call it WOW. You know what WOW is? Okay? Women of the West. If the women of the West said, you know what? We don't want to buy anything from any nation that does not allow their young girls to be educated, period, we would change the world. Women would change the world overnight and free all these young girls across planet Earth. Women have that much power. Okay, they're behind about 80% of the economic decisions in this country. Women have an insane amount of power relative to men. And I tell my wife this all the time. I said, women need to step up and act the part. They have the power. They have the economic power. They don't act it. And the moment women act it, God bless, then the world would be a better place. Okay? That's just my 2 cents. I mean, too many damn men are being soyed up. So I just read today, I got to find the damn thing, the article. But supposedly men in the United States, men, not this guy, but other guys, I guess, out there, I make sure I'm super careful what the hell I'm eating. But supposedly, a lot of men in the United States today have 10% of the testosterone levels of what men had during World War II. Let me say that again. Men are 1/10 of what they used to be and during World War II, if you based it off of testosterone. Now, is that not a sickening thing, right? That is disgusting. That men they've been literally having their testosterone sucked out of them. So this is why we got a bunch of wusses, right? No joke. We got a bunch of losers. I'm sorry, there's a lot of men that are losers. They don't realize they're losers because they don't have any testosterone. They think it's okay to just lose because everybody wins. There is no trophy about winners and losers anymore. You could just be a loser with a trophy. And that's what's going on in this damn world. Got a bunch of losers for these men. They're not men. I don't even know what the hell you call them. They're not women. They're not men. I guess maybe this is why they're calling them its, right? Maybe they really do need to be called its because they don't fit anywhere. And until they wake the hell up and stop eating all the damn soy and doing stupid shit and eating all these GMOs and eat your plant-based burger, right? Eat your plant-based burger. Instead of actual meat, this is what's going to happen. Eunuchs. That's right. They unified. They eunuchized, right? This is exactly what I was thinking it is. You know, Miss Kitty, you're spot on. I think I thought about it as they turned the men of the United States into eunuchs. The wussification of America. That's right. Fuck. I'm sorry. I almost cursed. I just caught myself. Damn it. You know, good thing I just stopped. Anyways, folks, it's been 1 hour. I'm going to just wrap up with Proverbs 14 on this. So here's the deal. Let me see here. Laughter can conceal a heavy heart. I do not have a heavy heart, but I do try to laugh a lot. Anyways, but when the laughter ends, the grief remains. I don't have anything to grieve about. I've been very blessed. I'm just, talking about this in here. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. I think that these backsliders need to get much more than they deserve. I think we need to even the score for all the years that they got away with all this crap. Anyways, that's the deal, folks. So, with that being said, it is what it is. So let's go to St. Michael's prayer. Let's wrap this up. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and soy in all the foods out there, because it's not any different than the sneers of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of thy heavenly host, by the power of God, return the testosterone levels of men all across America and the world, while simultaneously thrusting into hell Satan and all the evil spirits, the eunuchs, that wander through the world for the ruin of souls. Just saying. That's the deal, folks. That's what we need to do. So, anyways, I just want to say, I love you all. God bless you. God bless your family and friends. May God continue to bless the greatest nation in the history of the world. And may peace be with you. Bring back toxic masculinity. That's funny, onward. May peace be with you. And if you don't have peace, stop eating soy and you will find peace. Okay? I'm sorry. I think this whole thing came out of China. They realized what worked in China for 1,000 years. They wussified everybody in China. Oh, we'll just eat our rice and just be quiet and just do our little thing, put our head down and eat our soy and be just like a eunuch. Like a bunch of men in China are just like little eunuchs. They brought that shit over to the United States, folks. That's what's going on here. We need to kick that shit out of here and knock all these communists right the hell out. And that's what we need to do as soon as possible. So anyways, for what it's worth, that's my 2 cents. So I think if we do that, we will get peace, and this country will be much stronger. Winners, not whiners. That's exactly right, Maria. Winners, not whiners. God loves winners, not whiners. That's right. Well, weed killer. They're trying to pot us up. They're getting all these people that just, we need to get this shit out of here. So much to do, folks. So little time. We're going to have to speed it up. We got to speed it up and get rid of all these scumbags as soon as possible. So anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining in. Oh, the boxing cat is back. I haven't seen the boxing cat in a while. There he is. Hold on a second. There we go. You can't mess. Boxing cat, we missed you. We missed you, boxing cat. I do recognize the names on the right, folks. Donna's always here. Pastor Jim is here. He reigns is showed back up. Briar's new. Angela Bacon, I don't remember seeing you before, so you must be new. Amstock's always showing up. Holly, good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe you didn't realize we went over to Vimeo because I got banned for 2 weeks. Mason, we've seen you all the time. Can't mess with the pink piglet. And so Aaron is back. So this is cool. Cynthia, Gretchen, I see you all the time. So it's wonderful. Thank you all so much for coming in every day and sharing this experience, Dan as well. And so thank you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow, and let's take this country back. I think we got it in us. God is on our side, and we will prevail. So, anyways, God bless you all, and have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye. Mittens! Can't mess with the mittens.